Hi, my name is Alisha Wielfaert. I am the author of a book about little failures. This book explores the intersection of our little failures and mistakes with resiliency, growth, and our ability to bounce back even stronger after setbacks occur. I was inspired to write this book because one day in my group coaching program, someone said, "It's not a failure if you learn something." And I thought, no, that's not right. Failure is our path to learning, to growth, and to resilience. And I just couldn't get this topic out of my mind.
My perspective on failure is unique because all of us, if we're learning, if we're living, if we're growing, are going to encounter failure at some point in our life. But to me, the way we grow, the way we become resilient is by actually embracing our little failures, embracing those mistakes, feeling our feelings, processing them, grieving them, but especially honoring them, and then taking recovering action so that we can actually grow from those failures and mistakes. The tragedy would be sweeping them under the rug. The tragedy would be being so afraid to fail that we don't even try. Regret is so much more dangerous than failure. So I want to encourage you through this book to try, to not get it right, to learn something and try again.
In this book, I include stories about little failures from Sarah Blakely, Marie Forleo, and Abby Wambach. One of my favorite stories in this book is from my friend, scientist and adventurer Marley Parker. She has spent hundreds of days on expedition in the sea on a boat. And one time she told me about a scientist that she was working with who really believed that failures were just opportunities. They were challenges to keep trying and to keep moving forward. They were in the North Atlantic dodging a hurricane, and they had a failure in that they could not deploy their equipment into the water because the waters were too rough. This one little failure was keeping them from getting really strategic data that they needed from this expedition. But that particular engineer would not let them stop at that one little failure. He knew it was an opportunity to get more creative. So what they did is all of the engineers on the boat got together and they ended up welding together bits of metal that they had on board. They created an entirely new piece of equipment that could gather the same data as the big equipment. Because they weren't willing to let one little failure stop them, they were able to not only deploy a new piece of equipment, they created an entirely new piece of equipment to get the data that they needed on this expedition. Little failures can help us get more creative. And I've got lots more stories like this in store for you in Little Failures.
My hope is that this book will help encourage you to go after your dreams, to not let that fear of failure or the fear of not getting it right hold you back from going after what you really want. My hope is that this book will inspire you if you're recovering from failure or if you're trying to get the courage to go after something but are afraid of failing. It will give you the roadmap that you need to try and recover from any mishaps you might have along the way.
You will love and enjoy this book if there is something that you are dreaming of doing, but fear of failure is getting in the way. You will love and enjoy this book if you're recovering from failure. It might be the hope, the inspiration, and the fun you need to move forward. My name is Alisha Wielfaert, and I am the author of Little Failures.